So, as already has been said to you, Creative Mind is the book of this month, not to be confused with, I don't know what Ernest was thinking, his next book. This was written and published in 1990, wait, help me out here, 100 years ago. When was it, Joel? 100 years ago. 1997. No, 19, wait, help me out. Huh? 1920. That's why I don't do the books. So this is 100 years alive. And then he wrote another one. Like he couldn't come up with another name, and the new one was Creative Mind and Success. But it's a great book. This is just a sweet feeling of Holmes. This is when he was, coming out and claiming what was possible. So it's a really, and I always call this, I always suggest that you build your metaphysical science of mind library. And if you're doing that, this is one that you want to have on there. So I know you're all going to say, but I have so many books on my night table that I haven't read yet. Just put it on the pile. On page 26, he says, nearly all people are controlled by outer suggestions and not by inner realizations. Ordinarily, man thinks only what he sees others do and hears others say. That's familiar, right? We must all learn to control the inner life, that outside things do not make an impression upon our mentalities. As we are thinking beings and cannot help thinking, we cannot avoid making things happen to us. And what we need to do is to control our thought processes, that our thinking will not depart from the realization of that which is perfect. Man is governed, women are governed, by a mind which casts back to her every thought she thinks. She cannot escape from this and need not try. It would be useless. The laws of mind are simple and easy to understand. The trouble with us has been that we have laid down great obstructions and then have tried to overcome them. Stop trying. Stop struggling. Begin to be calm, to trust in the higher laws of life. Even though you do not see them, they are still there. Oh, man, such a big, big, big subject. This creative mind, and when I say mind, it's capital M, means the presence that informs us, okay, the presence that infuses itself through us. And then there's the conditioned mind. Unfortunately, we're very familiar with the conditioned mind. So whether you are happy or not, you are constantly creating. And if you are wondering about what you are creating, look at your life without judgment. Then right there in front of you is the evidence of your beliefs, and I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. The conditioned mind draws within the lines, sits in the same seats. Give me a little drum thing there, Neil. Thank you. Values traditions over current fashion and trends. Not that that's a bad thing. The conditioned mind asks for permission, looks for approval, and is concerned with making the grade according to the rules. The conditioned mind looks before they leap, values safety, and prefers to buy the warranties. Not that that's a bad thing either. Everything has a place, right? The creative mind says, what lines? Sits up front or in different places for different points of view. Values tradition, but will play with and experiment. The creative mind acts first, doesn't look around for approval, and often wonders, what are you looking at? The creative mind is makes up new rules. They are the entrepreneurs, and they jump first and then look to see if it's safe. They value experience that grows them and pushes them beyond their current state of experience. Ultimately, the creative mind asks, what's possible here? While staring at an empty canvas. They're not afraid of an empty canvas, of a new idea, of going into the unknown. The wide open and untouched space excites them and brings out their creativity. The creative mind might not be your natural state, but it can be cultivated. How? Heal your fears. Heal your fears. As you heal your fears and your need for approval, how? Heal your fears and need for approval. How? Spiritual practices, spiritual community, spiritual education. Why? Why take time to invest in this? Because behind each and every fear or conditioned idea is a vast, wide open space of possibility, excitement, and extraordinary ways of living. But that's blocked by our fears. It's blocked by your habits. It's blocked by your patterns. For every pattern you have, for everything you do not question, for everything you take as status quo is deadly to your creative spirit. There are aspects of this. Sometimes it's just damn smart to buy the warranty, don't get me wrong. But whatever we do from an unconscious state has us remain unconscious and has us shave off the edges of our creativity. I have been taking chances, and there's a number of stories which I won't go through, but there's been a number. I can track the time in my life from approximately, I guess it was about 13 years ago, when finally I began to challenge the idea of myself as not being creative. Where I didn't want to be the one in a workshop where we were supposed to do things. You know, I got all annoyed by that, right? Until one time when I was already a minister and I was attending this workshop. It was actually at the Unity workshop, Mark. And I was at this workshop, and it was a day with women. I thought, oh, I can't let this own me. See, that's the thing. That's what governs me always. I don't want to be owned by my fear. I don't want to be owned by my limitations. Do you? But then you got to question them. So right there on the spot, I questioned it. And I'm like, all right, let it go. Let it go. So I dove in, did what I did, and created some paper plates and pipe cleaners and, and who's oohing and eyeing over my thing because I decided to let go. I have no idea where it is. But I challenged it, and that was the beginning of me letting go of my conditioned idea of myself. However, it was far from me not caring about what you thought. I was still very invested in your approval and what you thought about me. That is so hard to recognize. It is deep within the bones of your being, and it's really difficult to see. So I can understand it if you haven't challenged it. But it's worthy of looking, it's worthy of pondering, it's worthy of challenging the status quo. So as you know, anybody who's been on my Facebook page, and if you're not, I encourage you to friend me on Facebook, either as Michelle Wadleigh or Rev Jersey Girl. There's lots of good material there. I only put stuff on my pages that will uplift and inspire you. But as you know, I've been taking painting classes with our own Bill Sarnowski, as is a few of the rest of us. There's a few others right now, and he's going to continue doing that. And you think it's about painting. It's nothing about painting. It's not at all about painting. Yeah, yes, we're learning to mix colors and learning how to do certain things. It's about letting go of restriction. It's about finding what's in your mind. It's about finding what's in the way. It's about all those things that, like, is it right? Oh my God, it's all that. It's all that. And so after my first painting that I did some time back with him, which was, it took me, I guess, about 15 hours to finish a pretty good-sized Buddha. It was quite lovely. We had guests over the house the other night, and I showed one of my friends the Buddha painting that's hanging proudly in my office with a light on top. She said, oh, I wouldn't have recognized that as a Buddha. You want to know the beauty? I don't care. No, I don't mean I don't care like I'm cold. I mean, I don't care. Do you have any idea how free it is when you don't care and you're not looking for approval? I would like you to like it. That would be nice. But that is icing on the cake. That is not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it so that I can expand and feel the freshness of spirit moving through me. That's why I'm doing it. So every time I now challenge that, I'm having an experiment with myself. Okay? Well, I want you to remember from that whole piece I just said, do you live looking for approval? I really want you to go home and ponder that. I really do. How do you know what you believe, though? Within the creative mind, how do you really know what you believe? The truth is, it's way simpler than you can imagine. Look at your life. That's what you believe. If you're living in chaos, there's somewhere you have chaotic thinking going on. If your relationships are not working, don't deny them. Look to see, what am I holding on to? Where am I feeling threatened? Where am I not in relationship with myself or spirit? Oh, that was the note I made before. That song, I'm Worthy by Greg Stamper, it's such a great song. And I had a friend ask me a couple weeks ago, it was so poignant, a person very new on the journey. And they were having one of those moments of that raw moment of looking within. And he said to me, what do I do with this feeling that I'm not enough? And it just broke my heart. Because I know, right? I know he's enough, and I know you all are enough. But we have the luxury of being in a community that believes that. But it still doesn't mean you're always in touch with that. And let me tell you, if you're not in touch with your enoughness, and yes, I know that's not a real word. If you're not in touch with your enoughness, it is because somewhere there's still a separation between you and spirit. Because when you are in relationship, and I know that implies two coming together, but when that relationship lives within you completely, there is no idea of separation, and there's no having to be enough. So ponder that too. So what I want to encourage you to do in your life, and this comes out of something that we do also in my Monday night class, which is filled with brand new practitioners, which I love, and then a whole bunch of people that have been taking classes around here for years, but don't want to be a practitioner. So for the first year, we're spending this time together. And so what I say to them is, your life is your petri dish. Everything in your life. So the key to transcending the need for approval, to transcending the rigidity of life, though, is to look at it without judgment. Thank you, God. Without judgment. Because the habit and the pattern of judging oneself is deadly. It is deadly to who you are. The habit of comparison. When you compare, you lose. When you compare, you lose. Not everybody's going to be equally good at everything all the time. Donald will probably never sing like Ty. Probably not. Is that okay?
It's fine.
It's fine. Not everyone is meant to be equal. We all have equal potentiality. We all have equal spirit. We have equal enthusiasm. We have equal love and presence within us. But we're not made to be the same. So the creative mind is one where we get our human local self out of the way. And we invite spirit to create in us. But you have to be awake, and you have to ask the questions, and you have to challenge the status quo. You have to challenge the status quo. do something brand new. I probably am not going to do it now after my knee surgery, but the one thing I never got to do physically that I really wanted to do was snowboarding. But Paul Trainer, 70 some odd years old, for God's sake, what is he, 78? I think he still snowboards. Am I right? He still snowboards. He is letting life live through him. Anything you think I'm too old for that, think again. Anything you think it's too late, I didn't learn that skill, think again. So next week, Regina and I were in cahoots about something so fun. She expressed her desire to want to make homemade chocolate candy, and I've kind of had that in the back of my mind too. It wasn't one of the top things. So, but as soon as she said, I'm like, yeah. So we're going to come and we're going to make chocolate, and you're going to buy it because, because you are our guinea pigs, and it's going to be a partial fundraiser. But we're watching the videos and scratching our heads because we bought a lesson. We don't know what we're doing, but we will. Because I'm not afraid of what I don't know. I'm not afraid of what I don't know. I want you not to be afraid of what you don't know. Because on the other side of that idea is a brilliant, bold, and fun you. I remember, Olga, you're sitting here. I remember years and years ago, again, with my deciding to challenge what I thought was, that I wasn't artistic. So I bought all this paper and these oil crayons, and I was doodling. I was taken to doodling. Olga used to own, sorry, this is so funny. I used to hang them on the wall in my office. And sometimes people would go in, they say, oh, did the kids do that? And sometimes people come in and say, oh, they're so pretty. Well, Olga, I don't know what made her think about it. She took them to a store and she sold some of them. I actually have sold doodles somewhere, hanging on someone's wall. It's so crazy. But, see, Bill, you're not the only paid artist in the room. Beyond the status quo, beyond the pattern, there's this place of creativity. And Spirit only wants to say yes. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Not for a long time, for a little bit of time. That place of discomfort is not actually, you don't have to, it's not a long time. Sometimes it's only, actually every single time we have a painting lesson, every single Saturday I do the same thing. So my canvas is in front of me and I pick up the brush, and that first time I go to put the brush on the canvas, every Saturday I go, and then it passes. Please, look into your heart and look into your soul. Look into what you thought you wanted to do, but you didn't try because you had all these reasons or all these excuses and all this stuff. And challenge it. Spirit wants you to be full. Spirit wants you to be fully expressed in joy. Because I got news for you. If we're not having joy, why bother? Life should be about joy. Life should be about joy. Yeah. So come, and the next time Bill announces his class, take that, and eventually we're going to get Evelyn teaching a knitting class. But I want the first space on that in that lesson, where come play. If you have something, a talent you want to express, tell me about it. You can teach here. We'll make room for you to do that. But come and bring it and show us and put it on Facebook and let us see what you're doing. Because as a community, we want to celebrate each other. I certainly don't mind being celebrated. I am doing a good job with my paintings. Yes? Yes. Good? Good. Makes sense? Yes. Does it feel comfortable or uncomfortable? It's okay. You don't grow without discomfort. That's the way it is. From the chick coming out of the egg to that blade of grass breaking through the sidewalk. There's always that moment of discomfort before it shows itself. It's okay. You'll be fine. Let's stand, if you will. You can join us. Hold hands with somebody next to you, please. And what I invite you to do right now is join me in this word that we speak, because the word is creative. This word is the power and the authority of this moment. There is nothing before this moment that is more powerful than this word, because this word is now and this word is conscious. This word I speak from the I am of me. And my I am is the I am that lives and exists and is expressed in each and every one of us here. So what I know for each one of us, in the words of a great philosopher that we know and love, Donald Bay. Say after me, I am the bomb diggity.
I am the bomb diggity.
I am creative.
I am creative.
And worthy.
And worthy.
And the liveness is pouring through me now.
And the liveness is pouring through me now.
Fearlessly.
Fearlessly.
I take on my life.
I take on my life.
I express joy.
I express joy.
And freedom.
And freedom.
This is the truth of my being.
This is the truth of my being.
With much gratitude, I just let this word be the truth of this day and each and every one of us here, in the consciousness of everyone here. And I declare that anything that's in the way gets out of the way. Any limiting ideas are melted away. And only the truth of the being of presence of God as each one of us. This is the truth of each and every one of us. And for this and so much more, for this community, for creative mind in and of itself, for this music, for Ernest Holmes. Thank you, God. Thank you for this and so much more. And please give a rousing closing with me. And so it is. Thank you.